Hey, thanks for joining us for this South Wales RTC session on getting more out of your iPad. This is just going to be a quick overview of some of the things that can help you with the use of your iPad, especially in these times, and hopefully allow you to be a little bit more productive and learn some new things along the way. My name's Matt, and I'm going to be the host for this session and the sessions that we will carry out throughout the week. So in this brief overview, we are going to look through how we can best use notes on our iPad. If you're not already using this, it's a great application, especially now with lots of different ways that you can use this for distance learning. Activating screen record, really going to be useful. So we'll just go through the basics of how to get that set up on your devices and how you might use it. I'll just offer a couple of ideas, and then finally look at speak selection, but also the dictation tool, which does this in reverse, as it might just make you a little bit more productive in the classroom. Okay, so let's get going and go into notes on my device. I'm just going to open up notes. And I've created here just a folder that I can use with you guys. Folders are a great way to help you get organized in your notes. It just makes everything compartmentalize so you can quickly find them. The more you use notes, obviously, the more purposeful having them in folders is going to be, depending on what you're using your notes for. Okay, just an overview of the page then. If we just take a look, if we start in the top right corner, the square with the pencil in it, that's just going to start a new note for me. So if you've used notes before, really simple and straightforward. If I tap on the screen, I can start to type in my notes. And we realize that I can't talk and type at the same time. So we can just use it in that way to just organize things. But let's delve in a little bit deeper and have a look at some of the other functions that we have within this. So I'm going to start in the bottom right corner. First thing I'm going to point out, just working from right to left, is the pen nib tool. This is called markup. What this enables me to do is draw directly into my note. Now this can be really useful for a number of ways. One, if you are using a stylus pen, you can just obviously now use this as note paper and a pen, as you would with a piece of paper and a pen. And you can just write directly onto the screen. And again, I can't talk and write at the same time, these things that you learn as you make these videos. The pen tools then across the top, just to go through them one at a time, we have our pen. If we tap on the pen, we can change the thickness. Can be quite useful depending on what things that you're doing as part of your note. If we tap on the colors to the side, we can choose the color of that pen. If we tap on the color wheel, we can choose a lot of variety of those colors. Next one then is a highlighter pen. Again, tap it again to change the thickness. One other thing to highlight here is that if you change the opacity, which is this slider button, and then we use that, because we can then see through it, it helps with that highlighter function. Next one is pencil, just a thinner line. Obviously gives the effect that it is a pencil as well. Rubber, no guesses there, allows me to erase the things we've done. Select tool, if I need to move something in my note, I can select it, place it somewhere else. And then depending on the version of iOS or the iPad OS you're using, there is also a ruler which can help you with drawing straight lines, etc. So select your pen tool, run it along the side, it will give you those functions. It can also help you with measuring different things as well, because it will give you the angles. So really simple functions that you can use there from a drawing point of view. Now, one thing to point out here, if you are thinking about doing distance learning and you still want to have that whiteboard experience where you can share things with your students, really great way here to start to set out potential maths problems or text that you can use, and we'll look at screen recording a little bit later. So as an example, let's say I want them to do something in science and I want them to explore how they set out a graph. I can quickly create that on the screen as I would exactly in my classroom. But the benefit here is that I can screen record this, giving them the option to be able to watch this video over and over again. So really useful tools there. So that's it from the drawing tools. Have a go, have a play, see how you get on with that. Just going to move that over to the side. Tap done when I'm done. Okay, so the next tool along from the pen tool is the camera tool. Now again, quite a useful resource, especially at these times. If you are utilising worksheets, and we strongly advise, you know, if you are going to a distance learning model, utilise what you have in the classroom rather than starting everything as online learning tools. So what's really great here is the option of having a scan tool. Now I'm just going to quickly demonstrate this just on my desk. If I go to scan, opens up my camera. Let's imagine this is a document. I can quickly just scan that document, takes that image, removes all of that background, and just gives me that image itself. I can crop things if I need to, etc. along the top. And when I'm happy with it, I just tap save, and that is now going to add to my note. Now the great thing here then, if I double tap on that, and then again access my drawing tools, I can draw all over this. So let's imagine this was a worksheet. We can start to fill in those details within the worksheet. I could send this as an annotated worksheet to my students with a voiceover again to say this is what we're looking for you to complete it. Here's some help, advice, etc. Lots of different ways there. I'm sure you can think about how you might use that in your classroom with your students. Again, we can take photos or videos of anything, not just scanning documents. We can take photos, and we can also access our photo library here, so we can add in anything from our photo library. Again, thinking about those opportunities where you might want to annotate over something. You might have a picture of something because you're teaching science, or you're teaching something in art, that you would then be able to draw over the top and create that kind of richer resource for your students. Next thing along then is your list tool. Allows you to just add in lists of whatever it is you might want to do. And what's great about this is once you've created that list, if you tick on those items, they move it so that the completed ones go to the bottom. It's just possibly going to help you organise yourself whilst you're potentially working from home, just to organise those thoughts, etc., that you might need to do completions of things each day. Great, okay. Something that's really useful, and maybe I should have mentioned this a little bit earlier, is the ability to change the background on your screen. I'll show this in a couple of ways. If you're already in a note and you think, I want to have some grid paper, etc., if you tap on the share icon along the top, and you go to your share options here, one of them is lines and grids. This is going to open up the option to be able to add in lines or your grids for different things that you might want to do. I'm going to choose the grids here because I think it's a great way to demonstrate you know, how to set up things on grid paper. It just helps the students be able to organize things. You could look at symmetry. If we change our paper there to lines instead, you've got a tool there that can help students potentially thinking about how they structure their letters on a line. So again, it just allows you to create that thing directly for your learners. If you are creating a new note, if I go to a new note, if I tap on that share icon, it comes up directly with lines and grids, so I don't need to go into that options. So if I want that from the very start of my note, lines and grids, again, choose the paper you want, and then you have that set up directly on your screen. So again, really simple use there of notes. Ideas for the classroom, like I said, replicating your board that you might use in the classroom, but the option of being able to screen record it. So we're going to move on to screen recording now, because I think that's a really helpful tool for anyone using iOS devices at the moment, if you're thinking about how you're going to record videos for your learners. So first thing you need to do is go to settings on your device, and on the left hand side you can see here it says Control Center. Tap on Control Center, and then on the right hand side tap on Customize Controls. Now the ones at the top with the red circle are things that you already have access to. The ones with the green circle with a plus in are things that you could have access to but you haven't enabled. So what you need to do is make sure that your screen recording one is in the top section, just by simply tapping on the plus next to screen recording. Now obviously at the moment I am screen recording, so I can't show you the full features of this without actually stopping my screen recording. But the simple process is, If I go back to my notes, and you can do this on absolutely anything, it will record everything on your device. If I slide down off the screen on my device, from the top right hand corner where the battery icon is, you can see the red flashing icon here. That means I'm recording at the moment. What you would need to do on your device is tap and hold. That will open up the option to turn on your microphone and then start recording. When you're then done, can you see the red icon at the top? When I'm happy to finish recording, I tap on that. It will give me the option to stop recording, and it will save that video to my photos library, where I can then share it to whoever it needs to be shared to down the line. So again, nice, simple, and obviously with this being on video, if you just need to go back, just rewind and check that process again, just to give you that overview. Now, last thing I wanted to share with you today, still going into settings, is something which might just help you with a bit of productivity at the moment, and that is the speak selection tool. And it's a great tool to also share with your learners, because they are going to be potentially working from distance from you. How can they get that extra input on certain things if they can't understand some text? So I'm going to go to accessibility, and I'm going to choose spoken content. Now again, this might look slightly different depending on your iOS version. My accessibility is on the left-hand side. If you're on an older version, you'll find accessibility in general, and then it's about halfway down this screen it will say accessibility, but the options are the same. So I'm going to go into accessibility. I'm going to choose spoken content. Again, older versions, it will say speech on your screen, and then that will take you to this screen. I've made sure that I've got speak selection switched on. That's the option that we're going to look at. And I'm also going to go to highlight content, make sure that's turned on. And for me, I'm going to keep it as words, but you can also change that for sentences or words and sentences. And then I'm going to change the highlight color to green. That's just through personal choice. Again, depends on any policies you might have in school around color use, etc. with your learners. So now what I'm going to do is go to a website and just quickly open that up, and then we'll just go through the process of how this works. So if I just type in here, I'm not surprised what I'll find on a BBC News website on a day like this. Trying to find something that might not be controversial, but here we go, we'll go with this one. So what I'm going to do is just select that text. In fact, I won't select all of it because it's going to go on for quite a long time. Above where I've selected, you can see it now says speak. And if I tap on speak.
In a statement, the palace said that Juan Carlos.
So you'll see that I can now enable the device to talk back to me, which for your students potentially working at a distance, if they do have iOS devices themselves, this is a great tip for them, because it means if there's a phrase that they don't understand, they can then simply just highlight that and have it speak back to them. I can also select individual words, and you'll see now I also have the option of spell.
STATEMENT.
So that's also a great way for them to just double check their spelling. Now I've done it on a website. You can do this in notes as well. So if I go back to our initial note, you'll see that I can highlight where I've written there and type speak.
Hello everyone.
And again, select a single word.
EVERYONE.
So again, really quick and simple way to add in our information and be able to know that students can access any terminology or spelling that they might be unsure about. Now the very last thing I'm going to show you is almost the opposite of that. I'm just going to open up a space to type on. Let's just move down on my text. Now, the opposite of having the device speak to you is being able to speak to the device. So on my screen, if I just have my keyboard up, alongside the space bar is a microphone, which will enable me to dictate to my device. Again, there are lots of different uses for this, and I'm sure you can think of lots of uses yourselves in terms of marking, providing feedback to students, etc., and just speeding up than not needing to type everything down. Also a useful tool for your students if they want to get across their thoughts but then unsure about how to spell certain words. So if I just go ahead and tap on the microphone, very, very simply been able to put all that information down in a very quick time, hopefully making me a little bit more productive as well. Okay, so we've gone through how to use notes, and again, I know we've gone through this quite quickly, but please do just watch this video again if you just want to recap anything. We've looked at how to record your screens, and hopefully that will become a very useful tool for you. And we've looked at speak selection and also the ability to dictate onto your device. So where next? My advice would be, if you haven't already logged on to the Apple Teacher Learning Center, just go ahead and type that into your web browser, and there are lots more skills that you can learn within there, and also the opportunity to take a quick quiz at the end and earn your Apple Teacher badge. And just to finish up by saying, learning is always better in person, and although these times where we might be asked to social distance, we will be running sessions out of the South Wales RTC, so please do follow us in future, and we'd love to see some people come along and share in person, and also share some of their thoughts about how they've used some of these tools that we've shared today. So thank you very much for watching.